The Commerce Department has released its monthly consumer spending report for the month of March. Consumer spending drives the U.S. economy and is seen as a key indicator of how deeply the current coronavirus crisis is affecting everyday Americans. Personal consumption expenditures, or all the goods and services purchased in the United States, was about $12.5 trillion in March, down from about $13.5 trillion from the previous month. With stores and restaurants being forced to close and jobless claims at record highs, consumers are, unsurprisingly, spending less money.
This consumer spending report is released monthly, and economists, investors, analysts all pay a ton of attention to it because of the huge role that spending has on the domestic economy.
Consumer spending makes up about 68% of GDP in the United States.
This is a really wide-ranging figure. This represents everything from people going to the mall to shop at stores to buying groceries to getting haircuts. It's anything you spend your money on. So in March, we saw businesses across the country start to shut their doors, and social distancing measures were put in place, and people were staying home more than they had, maybe ever. So that puts a serious hamper on how much money they are spending.
Consumer spending was at record highs a few months ago, driven in part by a decade of wage growth and low unemployment. But U.S. employees shed around 700,000 jobs in March, raising the unemployment rate to 4.4%, a number that's expected to increase in April.
What we're really seeing play out here is kind of this domino effect that spending can have on the entire economy. So a lot of people are left jobless. They have less money to spend. So that's less money that they're putting into the pockets of other people.
Retail sales were down 8.7% in March, with sales for clothing down as much as 50% from a year ago.
The U.S. government has tried to offset the impact of this coronavirus downturn with a stimulus package like we've never seen before. And the hope is that people who may be left jobless or whose income may have taken a hit, they might be able to pay their rent, or they'll go out there and they'll spend this money to potentially stimulate the economy.
Some analysts say consumer spending can be a lagging indicator of how the economy is doing, because it looks at spending from the previous month. But its growth almost always slows heading into a recession. If you look at the last recession, spending dipped during the second half of 2008.
Consumer spending is obviously a huge chunk of the domestic economy, but how much people are spending also tells you how confident they're feeling about their current economic situation, their current jobs, their future jobs.
A survey of consumer sentiment plunged around 20% in early April, the largest monthly decline ever recorded. There are some corners of the economy where consumers are still spending while staying at home. For example, they're paying for streaming services and buying things online, benefiting the stock prices of companies like Netflix and Amazon.
One worry that a lot of analysts and economists have right now is that once businesses are reopened, whenever that might be, that people won't just bounce back and start spending at the pace that they did previously. The worry is that the rebound could be a little bit slower than what many people are expecting right now.